It's Bruce Hill. I make sales simple. I want to share with y'all what I learned from Les Brown. So, I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm a member of the National Speakers Association of Georgia. And what's fun, whenever you Google that, you want to type in NSA, don't type in NSA. Type in National Speakers Association of Georgia. So, the goal in being part of the group is just to improve my skills as a speaker, but improve the business of speaking. So, what better chance to do that than learn from someone who's been speaking for 47 years? Mm. Now, I am pretty proud of myself. I brought a pen, which isn't in my pocket at the moment, but I forgot to bring paper. So, that was an area of opportunity. So, I grabbed this napkin to write down any gems I collected, and I want to share them with you. Just some thoughts that he put in the air and that stuck in my mind. Let's see here. Never. Oh, can't read my own handwriting. Never make a point without a story, and never tell a story without a point. Hmm. That one actually I'm going to put in use right away because I tell a story about where I left the job doing really, really well, and I went to a new opportunity that I thought would be better for me, and it was worse, right? It was a step in the wrong direction, and I just tell the story, right? You know, take from it what you will. But I thought about it. There's a lot of lessons to pull about making decisions, um, following through on decisions, and how to incorporate that in my storytelling. So I have to talk next week. So I'm really excited about putting those two together. All right, let's see. Every time you give your signature message, give it for the first time. Years ago, oh man, years, 10 or 15, I used to do stand up comedy. And I used to do improv and open mics, and I made sure I did at least once a month for a year. And I was okay, right? Obviously, you haven't seen any TV specials of Bruce Hill's comedy out, right? But it taught me to be a better speaker. There's two things I learned. One is always practice, like every day. Even for a 5 minute set, I practiced for 4 or 5 hours. And part of that was figuring out what was funny and what wasn't, like pulling those apart. And then part of that practice was figuring out the best way to say it. So I knew what I wanted to say, but how I wanted to say it may change. And so practice is a huge part of comedy. I took that into speaking. And then how do I articulate this? One thing that's interesting about comedy is once you find the best way to tell a joke, you tell the same joke the same way every time, no matter what city, what state, what audience you're in. Even if even if you have like a Saturday show and a Sunday show, like you tell the same things the same way every time. And that was a little boring for me, but what I realized that the audience hasn't heard it before. And sometimes even if they had heard it before, they don't mind hearing it again. And so as a speaker, I try to change my talk every single time I gave it. But when I did that, I never gave myself a chance to practice that talk. And so I actually had a chance to ask the question. I said, "Hey, when do you update your story?" And he said something to the effect of, "As you grow, your your story grows, but your story doesn't change." And that one, I think, every time you give your signature message, give it for the first time. That was important to me to say, "Hey, listen, one message improved over and over and over again." All right, affirm your audience. I want to say I do all right at that, but I can do it intentionally. Um, he said this a few times, and even when someone came up to ask a question, he said, "I'm looking at greatness." And when he says it, you're like, "Man, me? I'm great." And like, you believe it. Like, he believes it, so you believe it. Let's see here. Distract, dispute, inspire. Oh, yes. It's to distract them from where they are, dispute their limiting beliefs, and inspire them to be greater. I love a good framework. Um, hear you, feel you. Ooh, he talked about, okay, the audience can hear you like physically, but do they feel you here? Like, does what you say have an impact on their hearts and mind? That was a good reminder that what you say is important, but how you say it, how it impacts the audience is life changing. Every signature. Oh, yes. So our energy signature. He said that's the part that ChatGPT can't duplicate. And I was like, what's Les Brown know about ChatGPT? We gave a couple books to look up. Let me see if I can find this title. I'll share them with you. And if I remember, I'll put them in the notes. There's one by Augmentino. Let's see here. University of Success. There we go. And then Learned Optimism. Let me see who that's by. One moment. Martin Seligman. Got it. Okay. Just got some books to read. He gave us a piece of advice. He said, don't speak when you can't get a listen. And that's something he did even like at the end of his talk. He had people come and ask questions. And then he said, hey, can I offer you, are you open to coaching? That's what he said. Are you open to coaching? So even though he had suggestions for him, he didn't give them unless he had the permission to give them, unless he knew they were receptive to it, they were willing to listen. He gave us some life advice. He said, live full, die empty. And his setup for those just few words is impeccable. I need to go back and watch the recording. Hopefully, as a member, we'll get access to that pretty soon. Um, he talked about some people he learned from, Dexter Yeager, or not learned from, but spoke alongside Dexter Yeager and Charles Adams. And then he gave me an idea of a talk, maybe a web. This will be a webinar. He said, "Why you are afraid of sales and what to do about it." He covered a lot in just 60 minutes, and honestly, there's more, but I didn't bring a notebook. So that's where I really hope to get access to that recording. But whenever you have a chance to observe someone doing something that you enjoy, not just because they're a celebrity or famous, but because they're a reflection of what's possible for you, because they're an inspiration for how far you can go, and hopefully you can learn from them and get there a little faster, a little smoother. Whenever you have the opportunity, take it. And that's why shout out to the National Speakers Association of Georgia for just putting on an amazing event and helping me be a better speaker. So I'm really thankful for that. Excited to continue to grow this year and to share with you what I've learned. One of those things is making sure I'm back to recording videos daily, not just for to post, just to post, but for practice. Like this is practice. So I do these one take. You'll notice I don't do a lot of effects or editing because I want to practice as a speaker. I want to practice as a professional. And then I realized that I've been speaking for years now, almost 30 years. And I've been teaching for 15, 14, 15, depending on which way you slice it. Oh, there's so much I can share and I can document with you. I won't run out because I continue to learn and I continue to grow. So that's my challenge to myself. That's what I'm going to do with what I learned is to continue to practice and share with you all. So my name is Bruce Hill. I make sales simple. I believe that your personal development is business development. So whether you're an entrepreneur or you're a career professional, if you grow, the business grows, and one new skill will change your life. Cheers to your success.